US fighters scramble to intercept a fast-moving jet.
Everybody knew that there was a major problem.
Stand by. I can't quite see.
But this is not a combat mission.
Our job is to try to figure out what's wrong with that airplane.
It's a mid-air emergency.
47 Bravo Alpha, Jacksonville. Please acknowledge.
A private Learjet is hundreds of miles off course.
For some reason, though, that crew is not communicating with air traffic control, and we need to find that out.
Can he see anything in the cockpit?
The aircraft was flying toward a large metropolitan area.
Get me someone from Learjet. I need to know how long this plane can stay in the air.
If it went down in those areas, there'd be mass casualties.
It's 8:30 a.m. at Orlando International Airport.
Tablet?
On.
Radios.
The pilots of a private Learjet run through their pre-flight checks.
Are set.
They're preparing for some high-profile passengers.
And we're ready for taxi.
Just in time. Here's the man himself. Good morning.
Pro golfer Payne Stewart is on his way to Dallas with some close business associates.
Sure, the target area is wide, but you miss, the bunker's gonna eat you alive.
Payne Stewart is one of the most colorful characters in the game of golf.
At 42, Stewart is in the middle of a comeback year. He's just won the US Open, one of the most important dates on the tour. But he's almost as famous for his trademark wardrobe as he is for his golfing.
Payne Stewart was loud, he was outgoing, he was engaging. His dad always wore really colorful blazers. He always told Payne, you want to stand out. So Payne said, I'm going to wear knickers, +4s, and a flat cap. So even people who didn't follow golf knew who he was by how he dressed.
Let me show you my idea for that bunker.
Payne Stewart hopes his future in golf will go beyond playing the game. He has big plans for building a new course at the Dallas University where he honed his skills as an amateur.
There were 3 other people with him in the plane in addition to the pilots. He had Van Arden, who was his agent, along with Robert Fraley, also his agent, and Bruce Borland, who was a member of the Jack Nicklaus Design Group.
This hole is gonna be tough. It's over 500 yards.
Stewart flies regularly on the Learjet, a plane that takes its name from the man who designed it.
Bill Lear was working on a fighter jet design for the Swiss, and when they decided not to build that airplane, he took that design and brought it back to the U.S. and built the Learjet.
47 Bravo Alpha, you are cleared for takeoff.
Ready? Okay, here we go, and takeoff thrust.
Captain Michael Kling is well qualified to fly this high-performance machine. He's a former Air Force pilot and flight instructor.
A lot of pilots came out of the Air Force and started flying Learjets because it reminded them and gave them that performance that they were used to. It was like the Ferrari or the Porsche business jets.
P1?
First Officer Stephanie Bolagarig has less than 100 hours in the Lear. She's keen to log more flight time.
Rotate.
At 9:19 a.m., the Learjet lifts off.
Good morning, Jacksonville. This is Learjet 47 Bravo Alpha, climbing to flight level 260.
The crew contacts Jacksonville Air Traffic Control.
Good morning, 47 Bravo Alpha. Climb and maintain flight level 390.
Wesley Cooch was one of the controllers on duty that day.
The crew of the Learjet was extremely professional, cheerful, nothing out of the ordinary at all. A typical, hello, how are you, verify your altitude, course, etc.
Learjet 47 Bravo Alpha, roger that, Jacksonville. Climb and maintain flight level 390.
The controller clears the jet to keep climbing all the way to 39,000 feet.
The Learjet generally flies higher than the commercial airliners.
By flying at high altitudes where the air is thin, the Lear saves on fuel.
Well, you get a better economy. So you're getting from point A to point B, costing you less.
The flight plan calls for the airplane to fly northwest towards Cross City, Florida, then turn west and fly direct to Dallas. 14 minutes after takeoff, the Learjet has traveled 80 miles. It's time to pass control of the plane to a new air traffic controller.
Air traffic control is a series of what we call handoffs. And that means that it's time for him to cross to somebody else's sector.
47 Bravo Alpha, contact Jack Center at 135.65.
The pilots need to change to a different radio frequency to talk to the next controller.
47 Bravo Alpha, please acknowledge.
There's no answer.
There's nothing really unusual about missing a frequency change. It's early, just after takeoff. I assume they're trying to get everything buttoned up and taken care of. It really wasn't that alarming.
47 Bravo Alpha, contact Jack Center on 135.65.
In the back of your mind, all controllers know I didn't get an acknowledgement for that frequency change. So you give her a moment, you go on about your business, then you come back to the aircraft. You try it again.
47 Bravo Alpha, this is Jack Center.
What's up?
It's that Learjet. It's not answering.
Maybe he's off frequency.
There's a plethora of reasons why an aircraft can miss a call.
Let's see if it levels off when it's supposed to.
The Learjet has nearly reached its approved cruising altitude of 39,000 feet.
They're still climbing.
Let me see their flight plan.
When it climbed through 39,000 feet, everybody knew that there was a major, major problem.
We've got a turn coming across city.
Let's hope they make that turn. I'm gonna try again on the other frequency. 47 Bravo Alpha, Jacksonville, please acknowledge.
At the same time, pilots of other planes in the area also try to contact the Learjet.
47 Bravo Alpha, come in.
It's kind of a band of brothers thing among pilots that if something is beginning to go wrong, perhaps you can step in safely and remedy a situation. If the Lear's radios were failing but not failed, then perhaps a relay could be set up to communicate with the aircraft from the ground.
Any pilot, do you have contact with the Learjet?
Negative. Nothing from the Learjet.
It's been 20 minutes since Payne Stewart's plane left Orlando. Controllers watch nervously as it approaches Cross City. It's a critical moment. They know that any second now, the Learjet is supposed to turn west towards Dallas.
The tension level was so high, you could hear a pin drop.
Damn it.
It's not making a course correction. There was something terribly wrong.
This is Jacksonville Center. I'm declaring an emergency.
We're all kind of in shock and disbelief at this aircraft.
Ben's in here.
Experts at the National Transportation Safety Board are notified of the escalating emergency.
Give me a map.
Once the air traffic control system realized the aircraft had gone rogue, so to speak, the next step is to try to figure out why. It's either being hijacked or it's malfunctioned, the crew has been incapacitated somehow.
This is where they are now.
Controllers scramble F-16 with Learjet.
Is the crew incapacitated? Is there something wrong with the aircraft? For some reason, though, that crew is not communicating with air traffic control, so our job is to go up and find out why.
The situation is growing more urgent. The runaway plane has been out of contact for more than an hour, and it's about to fly over the densely populated area around Memphis.
Get me someone from Learjet. I need to know how long this plane can stay in the air.
The aircraft was flying toward a large metropolitan area. The question became, well, if it went out of control or ran out of gas over Memphis, what would happen?
Learjet investigator Jim Tidball is immediately recruited to the team.
Where is it right now?
His first task is to determine how far the plane can get with the amount of fuel on board.
I need performance data on the 35 ASAP.
When the airplane didn't make its turn, it continued on towards Memphis. And after Memphis, it was headed towards St. Louis. And after St. Louis, again towards Minneapolis. Those were all major metropolitan areas. If it went down in those areas, there'd be mass casualties.
A small private jet on a routine flight has turned into a national emergency.
We have a developing story, as you may have heard. There is a civilian Learjet.
News of a rogue Learjet flying hundreds of miles off course has captivated the nation.
Turn that up, would you?
The Air Force is simply saying
NTSB investigators keep a close eye on the media coverage.
they attempted to find out what's
We began assembling our launch team and monitoring the situation on television like a lot of folks in the United States.
It did take a full load of fuel on when it...
So it became a kind of a weird situation for us.
There's some good news. The plane has cleared Memphis airspace.
At least it didn't hit the city.
But the crisis is far from over. Controllers still have no idea why the plane is not responding. And there are more urban centers in the Learjet's path. If it doesn't change course soon to take drastic measures.
If the decision came out that they were to take the airplane out instead of allowing it to go towards a metropolitan area, that decision would have to come from the White House.
The FAA began tracking an aircraft in distress. The president was made aware of this situation this morning in a meeting with his economic advisors.
Okay, I think I got something.
Jim Tidball has come up with a rough calculation of where the plane will run out of fuel.
ATC kept giving the team real-time data as to where the airplane was, the heading that it was flying, etc. So we always knew where the airplane was, and calculating the fuel burn at those altitudes, we could figure how far it was going to go.
My best guess is South Dakota, possibly North Dakota. I can't say more than that.
Let's hope he's right. With any luck, they won't hit anything.
That's the scary part of the whole equation here. Is it going to hit a house? Is it going to go down in a town? Big Midwest, but anything could be possible.
In the air, the F-16 pilots have caught up with the rogue plane.
Stand by. I can't quite see.
Once we made the intercept, our job is to figure out what's going on with the airplane. We'll visually look at the airplane.
No damage.
There was no panels missing. There was no gas leaking, for instance. There was no any other fluids leaking. There was no obvious exterior damage.
The fighter pilots are desperate for some way to communicate with the Learjet's crew, so they attempt a risky aerial maneuver.
I'm going to try and wake them up.